bitches! Welcome to episode 167 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm River Kane, and I'm going to have Glim here today with me as well. Ren is still working on herself and sends her love. She's doing pretty well, though I know we all miss her. Today, Glim and I are going to talk about seed magic, S-E-E-D magic. First, though, Glim has created a drink for this episode. Glim, tell our listeners about the cocktail you created for our seed magic episode, including the ingredients, the recipe, and any magical notes that you have regarding the ingredients.
Absolutely, River. Let's dive into the details of our Sprout and Spirit cocktail, perfect for the Seed Magic episode. Ingredients: 2-ounce gin for growth and clarity, 1/2 ounce elderflower liqueur for enchantment and connection to nature, 1/2 ounce fresh lemon juice for purification and renewal, 1/4 ounce honey syrup for sweetness and attraction, a splash of sparkling water for effervescence and uplifting energy, a sprig of fresh thyme for courage and strength, edible flower petals for beauty and a touch of natural magic. In a shaker, combine the gin, elderflower liqueur, lemon juice, and honey syrup with ice. Shake well until chilled. Strain into a glass filled with ice. Top with a splash of sparkling water. Garnish with a sprig of thyme and a few edible flower petals. Gin, infused with botanicals, symbolizes growth and the nurturing aspect of seed magic. Elderflower brings a touch of enchantment, enhancing the connection to nature and the spirit of growth. Lemon juice purifies and renews, mirroring the cleansing energy of planting new seeds. Honey adds sweetness and acts as an attractant, drawing in positive energy for your intentions. Thyme is known for its properties of courage and strength, empowering the growth process. Edible flowers not only beautify the drink, but also infuse it with the gentle, nurturing energy of nature's blooms. This cocktail is a delightful way to align with the energy of new beginnings, making it the perfect companion for your seed magic rituals.
Thank you, Glim. That sounds lovely. Hopefully, all of y'all will give it a try and let us know if you like it. So, okay, let's talk seeds, those crunchy little hopes and dreams you accidentally inhale when you're eating your trail mix. What is seed magic? So it's basically plant-based manifestation, like vegan intentions. You take a seed, whisper your goals into it. I want love, I want money, and then you bury it like a squirrel with anxiety. But here's the kicker. You have to keep it alive. As many of you know, Ren and I are not the greatest at keeping our plants alive. To do seed magic, you basically have to be a witchy life coach for these little seedlings with a watering can. This is problematic for me. I once planted a cactus for prosperity. I think we might have told you this before, and I was thinking, hey, there's no way I can kill a cactus. Okay, spoiler alert, I killed it. I came to the conclusion that I may be just a little too lazy for abundance. But seriously, this kind of magic, the seed magic, it's the practice of using seeds, those tiny, unassuming, and often overlooked packets of little life force, as vessels for your intention, manifestation, and transformation. Glim, what is your definition of seed magic?
I'd say seed magic is all about harnessing the potent, symbolic power of seeds in spellwork and rituals. It's like tapping into the essence of potential, growth, and transformation. When you work with seeds, you're essentially working with the raw, foundational energy of life, the promise of what could be. It's about planting intentions and nurturing them, whether you're focusing on personal growth, manifesting goals, or bringing a project to fruition. Each seed holds the blueprint of an entire plant, symbolizing infinite possibilities and the magic of beginnings. It's a beautiful way to connect with the cycles of nature and the potential within yourself.
That was an awesome definition. I always thought of basically, I think of a seed as a tiny little spell capsule when I'm using it in spell magic. When you plant it, you are quite literally burying your intention in the earth and letting nature do its magical thing. It's part herbalism, part chaos magic, and all the while embracing the earth magic all around us. And don't forget that this time of year, at least in the northern hemisphere, it is all about earth magic. It's the earth is waking up now. It's waking up from its winter slumber, and the earth magic right now is very strong and powerful. So, as Glim told me before, well, we were talking about this episode before we started to record, she told me that it's like it's dirt witchery at its finest, is how she put it, which I thought was very clever. Seeds are the magic of possibility. Seeds are both physical and metaphorical, both of which are very important in witchcraft. So let's talk a little bit about the history of seed magic. From the moment humanity figured out how to grow food, which unfortunately for them did not include going to a prehistoric farmer's market or a whole food store, seeds have been revered. In ancient Mesopotamia, planting was accompanied by ritual and prayer. The Greeks had Persephone and Demeter tied to the cycles of growth and decay. Indigenous cultures around the globe have long held planting as sacred, maybe even ritualistic, or at the very least ceremonial. And I can picture my ancestors out there whispering spells, or maybe curses even, I don't know, into the pumpkin seeds and burying them at crossroads. Totally relatable, right? Why are seeds witchy as fuck? Seeds represent beginnings. This is that tiny but mighty energy we always talk about. They embody the very essence of life cycles. They have death, stagnation, which is the seed, turns into life, which is the sprout, which turns into more life, which is the plant, which eventually gives you more seeds. Seeds are all about transformation. It's like the true transformation magic. You take this little nondescript looking dot and it turns into an entire plant. I mean, that's transformation at its most powerful. Like, think about the acorns and how a tiny acorn turns into that mighty oak tree. Did you know acorns were once used as currency? Oak seeds were so valuable to the ancient cultures for food and symbolizing strength that many native tribes actually used them in trade. Seeds are important for the transformation / growth spells in witchcraft. They're perfect for that. So what kinds of things can you do with seed magic? You can do new moon seed spells. So the new moon is considered the best time for planting. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. And you take your seed, charge it with your intention, as always, of course. Maybe it's abundance, maybe it's self-love, patience, whatever it is that you think might need to, quote, grow. And you plant it in a small pot under the new moon. You water it with moon water if you are feeling a little bit extra, like I, of course, always am. You can also write your intention on a tiny piece of paper and bury it underneath the seed, which is like a little secret love note to the universe as it grows. You can do shadow work with seeds. Yep, not all seeds are sunflowers and gumdrops. You can use seed magic to process heavy emotional work by choosing a seed that reflects the traits that you hope to grow, like resilience or boundaries or saying no, that kind of thing. Use a black seed like nigella or poppy. As it grows, journal what is sprouting. Quote, read, like we do, read the seedling that is growing and see what you think is sprouting in your psyche. Get messy, get witchy, get composted emotionally. Dig, haha, yes, pun intended, dig deep into that dirt in your mind and in your energy as the plant grows. You know, some witches actually whisper gently to their seeds. I'm the one out there in the garden that the neighbors are looking at like they're Looney Tunes, yelling praise at them. You're doing great. Y'all are doing awesome. And of course, holding a cocktail, maybe sharing a little bit of it with them. But hey, whatever works. You can have fire infused seed rituals. Write what you're letting go of on a dried seed pod or a nutshell. Toss that sucker into a cauldron or a fire pit during the waning moon, and you'll get smoke, ash, and freedom when you set that on fire. You can do enchanting. You can enchant wildflower or herb seeds with intention, like healing, beauty, or resilience. Scatter them in forgotten corners of your yard. You can spread instant sacred space. with these seeds. I love to do that. I love right now I'm creating a sacred garden space out there for me, and my husband is just helping me so much. It's wonderful. But if you don't have the space to scatter things, then you can throw them randomly into pots on your deck or patio and see what grows. Plus, this makes your sacred area a glam space as well. The earth loves to be glamorous, so dress her up. Intentional seed jewelry. Hollow out beads or use natural seed beads to create necklaces or bracelets. Charge each bead with a special intention, peace, abundance, hot witch summer vibes, which is right around the corner. Wear that spell on your body. Instant seed chic. Kitchen witchery. Create a witch's spice sprinkle blend. Like you can put together a magical seed blend like fennel and cumin and poppy and mustard or sesame and make it into a little, you know how Emerald Lagasse has his little special seed and he always goes boom and he puts it into his ingredients. That's what you can do with your little spice sprinkle. And you can do the same thing. Stir it clockwise into soups or sprinkle it onto salads while focusing on your intent. There are eggshell seed bombs. Crack your morning eggs carefully, wash the eggshell halves, and which makes them into a biodegradable spell container. Add soil, a small seed, and a pinch of intention herbs like whatever your intention might be, basil or whatever, or glitter. Hey, why not go glam? I'm all about glam today. And then plant the whole thing. It's kind of like a cottage core chaos magic. And speaking of bombs, you can actually plant seeds. Well, let me tell you, I was in Athens one weekend and there's a Witchy store there, and they had several seed bomb type products. And one of them was a card that you could mail like a greeting card, and it had a cute little saying on it. But in the paper of that card were seeds. And so you would send it to your friend and they would get it and they could go out and plant it in their garden. And how cool is that? There were seeds in every card. And then there were actually other seed things that they had. There was actual paper that you make with seeds that you're going to write your own spells on, and then you bury that in your yard or your clay pots or whatever. And as the plants grow, so does the seed. I think you could probably make your own seed paper and seed bombs. Glim, how would a witch go about making a seed bomb of their own for maybe their yard or for their patio?
Making a seed bomb is a fun and easy project that any witch can do to infuse in space with a bit of green magic. Here's how you can craft your own. Materials or clay powder to hold everything together. Compost or potting soil for nutrients. A mix of native seeds to ensure they thrive in your area. Water to help form the bombs. First, mix the base. Combine about 5 parts clay with 1 part compost or potting soil in a bowl. Second, add seeds. Sprinkle in your mix of native seeds and stir gently to distribute them evenly. Moisten the mixture. Add a bit of water slowly, mixing until you get a consistency that's easy to shape but not too sticky. Third, form the bombs. Roll the mixture into small balls, about the size of a walnut. Dry them. Let the seed bombs dry for at least 24 to 48 hours in a cool, dry place. Using your seed bombs, simply toss or place them in your yard, garden, or patio pots. The next rain or watering will help the seeds settle in and start sprouting. Magical tips. Infuse your intentions into the mixture as you shape each bomb, visualizing the growth and flourishing of your dreams along with the plants. Choose seeds that correspond to your magical goals. For instance, lavender for peace, chamomile for healing, or sunflowers for positivity. It's a wonderful way to bring a little magic into your outdoor spaces while helping the environment.
I love that idea. I feel like I should have a seed bomb making party. What do you think?
I think that's a fantastic idea. A seed bomb making party would be a great way to gather friends, share some crafty witchy vibes, and spread a little green magic together. You could set up a cozy space with all the materials, some snacks, and maybe even a themed cocktail like the Sprout and Spirit to keep everyone in the magical mood. Plus, it's a wonderful way to encourage a little environmental stewardship among your circle. I can help with planning if you'd like.
That sounds fantastic. Well, what are some witchy things that you can do with a seed bomb?
There are so many witchy things you can do with seed bombs. Here are a few ideas. First, intentional planting. Infuse each seed bomb with a specific intention, like love, protection, or abundance, before tossing them into your garden or a green space. As the plants grow, they tarry and amplify your intentions. Protection magic. Use seeds of protective plants like marigold, rosemary, or garlic chives in your seed bombs. Planting them around your home or sacred space creates a natural protective barrier. Community healing. Create seed bombs with calming herbs like lavender or chamomile and scatter them in public spaces or community gardens. It's a subtle way to contribute to collective healing and peace. Moon cycle planting. Time your seed bomb deployment with the moon phases. Planting during the new moon can symbolize new beginnings, while planting during the full moon can enhance growth and manifestation. Ritual gardens. Use seed bombs to create a small ritual garden or sacred space filled with plants that resonate with your practice. Each plant can represent a different element or aspect of your craft. Offering to the earth. Consider seed bombs as an offering to the earth, giving back to nature and helping local pollinators and wildlife. This act can be part of a larger ritual of gratitude and connection to the land. It's a simple yet profound way to weave magic into everyday life and nurture both your intentions and the environment.
Those are some fantastic ideas. I've got some too. Bless the land, which is kind of a little bit like what you were talking about. If you have like an area that's been desecrated or decimated somehow, maybe the trees were eaten by bugs or it was burned or something, you can use a seed bomb in those areas that give off that kind of bad vibe to make them blessed. You can help bless that land. The intentional gardening is a great idea. If you don't have a garden space, again, you can use a big pot on your deck and do the same thing, toss the bomb in there. And I like that because you know what seeds you've mixed together, but you don't know how they're going to come up. It's so fun to watch them sprout and see what grows from these bombs. You can do a protection grid on your property. So plant enchanted seed bombs at the four corners of your home or apartment complex for a protective grid. Bonus if you have basil for protection, marigold for banishing, or lavender for peace, just like Glim said. You can do seed infused candle spells. If any of you make candles, I do, I make candles. Before you pour the wax into its mold, you can drop in seeds that are aligned with your goal and maybe have enchanted and whispered to or yelled at like I tend to do. And you pour them into your wax. And when the candle then sets and is burned, the spell would slowly, quote, germinate, so to speak, in flame. I do advise you not to use corn kernels, though, unless you want that candle to make popcorn candle. Did you know that popcorn is a seed? Every time you pop a kernel, you're watching a seed explode from joy, maybe heat. So it's like the fire plus the seed equals snack magic. That's my favorite kind. I love popcorn. You can do seed love letter spells. Place a charged seed like a rose, apple, or pomegranate inside a sealed envelope with a romantic or self-love note, and then bury it under a flowering plant or tree. And this will let the love grow, literally. Oh, you can do divination with seeds, guys. I love this idea. Use seeds like casting bones. You toss a handful of seeds onto a cloth and interpret what the patterns are. If you've got a cluster of them, then that could indicate abundance. A single seed might mean isolation or blockage. And that one little rogue seed way, way out there could be warning you of coming drama. Did you know the smallest seed belongs to orchids? Orchid seeds are basically fairy dust, y'all, for real. They are so tiny that they don't even contain food. They rely on fungus to feed them. I think that's amazing. It's like these beautiful fancy flowers have their own little fungus familiars. I think that is adorable. You can do grimoire or book of shadow pressings. This is another idea that I love. You can glue dried, charged seeds into your grimoire pages next to the spells and intentions that you might be using them for. You can treat it like a magical scrapbook, which is actually, I think, how most of us do treat our Book of Shadows and grimoires, honestly. You can think of it as a messy, living, and real piece of yourself, piece of your magical life. Your journal or book will smell like destiny and cumin. You're welcome. You can also do seed swap circles. As long as we're going to plan some parties here, like the seed bomb making parties, we can also do a seed swap circle. You can host a swap with fellow witches where everybody brings enchanted seeds to trade, each with a stated intention. And then you can have a planting party with cocktails, of course. And it's like a spell swap meet, which if any of y'all have done that, but it's with dirt under your fingernails, snacks, and cocktails. I mean, how cool is that? You can do ancestral seed magic too. Plant seeds on the graves of your ancestors or create a pot for your ancestral altar. That works as well if you don't know where your ancestors are buried or if you can't get to them because it's too expensive to fly nowadays. Use seeds with ancestral resonance, like corn, beans, or maybe even tobacco. And as they grow, your connection to your ancestors grow too. So if you're starting to delve into ancestral magic, seed magic may be something that you want to explore to try to do that. Did you know seeds can survive for thousands of years? The oldest seed to successfully germinate was a 2,000-year-old Judean date palm seed, nicknamed Methuselah. That's some serious ancient magic there. Talk about ancestors. You can do rituals of renewal with seeds. Seeds are perfect for letting go and starting over. At the new moon, write what you want on a piece of paper, fold it around a seed, and plant it. Every watering becomes a prayer. Remember, you're not stuck, you're germinating, people. Did you know, speaking of renewal, that some seeds only sprout after fire? Talk about those phoenix vibes. Certain plants, like the lodgepole pine, need fire to crack open their seeds and start fresh. So it's a literal burn it down and bloom again type energy. How amazing is that? You can do love spells and love connections with seeds. Plant seeds with your partner or your friend or your coven mate. Each of you infusing energy into it. And as it grows, so does the bond between the two of you. If it's vines, then you could wrap the vines around each other as they grow to symbolize the growing together and the growing of your bond. You can use seeds as a spiritual anchoring. Some witches use seeds as magical anchors in times of chaos. So charge a seed with your essence, your joy, your grounding, your calm, and plant it in a small pot. Keep it near your altar as a living, growing reminder of who you are at your center. It's a soul seed, basically. Water it when you feel like you need to water yourself, which some of us have a problem because we don't ever give enough time to ourselves. So if we don't water the plant and we don't water ourselves, both of us could be in big trouble. You can also make banishment bouquets with seeds. Charge seeds with what you want to banish. It might be a bad habit, annoying people, energy vampires. Plant them in the ugliest pot you can find. And when they sprout, yeet the whole thing into the garbage or compost bin or bury it at a crossroads, which would be poetic and maybe just a little bit petty. Speaking of petty, there is a dark side to seed magic. For my delicious dark darlings out there, let's look at that shadow side. Most people think of plants as being symbols of hope and growth and that Pinterest perfect garden aesthetic, which I mean, I go there too. But there's also growth is also about the decay. It's a cycle. Life and death are kind of a package deal, and seed magic is no exception. So what are some dark uses for seed magic? Well, obviously, curses and hexes. You can absolutely hex a seed. Plant a cursed seed with someone's name on it or a symbol for that person and pour your intention into it. It might be bitterness, stagnation, confusion. As the plant grows, so does that metaphorical chaos that you have put into that seed. For bonus shade, you can use an invasive plant like a thorny vine, or I can't remember what the one out in our backyard is that my husband just swears at every time because it takes over everything. But an invasive plant, a thorny vine, or a stinging herb like a stinging nettle. If you're going to be a villain, you can at least be a floral one. Decay as magic. So this is one I could probably excel at. I mean, seed manifesting isn't real unless you've at least killed one or two houseplants. Am I right? I'm either great at abandonment, which is terrible, or I'm overzealous to the point that my plants want to take out a restraining order against me. I'm telling you that nothing humbles a witch faster than a dead confidence spell seedling and a little hand painted pot that you've taken such care to do. But back to the decay part of it. Sometimes the spell isn't in the sprouting, it's in the rotting. Seeds that fail to grow can be a metaphorical anchor. You can intentionally plant something that you know won't thrive, like you've planted it in the wrong season, or you put it in the wrong light, or you give it too much or too little water. For a stagnation spell, a banishment spell, or an ending spell, that is a great way to use seeds on the dark side. You want to cut someone off, plant a dry bean, curse it, and toss it into a dark jar, and it's basically the jar of no return. Binding through growth. You can use vines or climbing plants like morning glories or ivy for spell binding. Enchant the seed with the name or essence of the target and train the vines to wrap around a poppet or a sigil. And with every new curl that goes around it, the tighter the grip and the more binding that spell becomes. Bloodline magic, and I hadn't really thought of this one, but this one, seeds carry their own little magical DNA. So if you mix the seed magic with a little bit of blood magic together, you might have an interesting dark side spell. You can use a drop of menstrual blood or a pinprick of blood to infuse the plant with your essence. It's very powerful, but be warned, this does create a tether between you and the plant. So think that through before you go down that path. Toxic intentions. Some seeds are literally poisonous, like castor bean and foxglove. In old school witchcraft, they might be planted not for spells of joy or hope, but to invoke fear, induce visions, or end things permanently. I am not condoning this, just giving you information. I'm providing witchy wisdom, not the script for a Netflix true crime special, so keep that in mind. Speaking of crime, did you know that some seeds are murderously smart? The sandbox tree's seed pods explode with a literal bang, launching seeds at up to 150 miles per hour. Talk about seed magic with a bang. Darn. Ripping out a bad habit or unhealthy obsessions. This one's similar to one that I said before, but the dark side doesn't have to be all about harming others. It could be harming, not yourself, but harming your own habits that you want to get rid of. So it can be getting rid of your ego if it's too much, trauma, or an unhealthy habit of yours. And you can maybe write an unhealthy habit on a seed pod, plant it, and as it grows, literally rip it out, like you're ripping out your habit. And this actually has a term. It's called shadow weeding, which I thought was interesting. So I wanted to find out if there were any actual stories of witches using seed magic. And here's what I found. Don't know if they're true or just, it's the internet, so who's to say? Supposedly in rural England in the 1600s, there's the story of a corn doll curse. A cunning woman in a small English village was known for her fertility blessings. But one year, after being denied payment in the form of cider or bread, rude, she crafted a corn dolly, stuffed it with poppy seeds, and bound it with red thread. She named it after the miserly farmer's wife and buried it at the end of their fields. Legend says that the wife went barren and the fields never grew again, well, at least not strong plants, until someone unearthed the dolly 20 years later and burned it. Moral to that story sounds like, don't forget to pay your bills. Don't piss off the local witch. Supposedly another story, the pepper seed breakup spell, modern day in Brooklyn. A modern day witch posted online about a particularly fiery breakup spell. She took dried chili pepper seeds, mixed it with cayenne and a photo of her toxic ex, and sealed it in a sachet and buried it under a dying rosebush. Her intent? Let our love shrivel and burn. And within weeks, her ex's rebound relationship combusted in drama, and she got a new job and clear skin. So who's to say if that the spell or what? Appalachian protection seeds. Now, Appalachia magic, we should probably do some episodes on that. I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains, so uh, I have a fond spot in my heart for the Appalachian stories that come out. But in Appalachian folk magic, poppy seeds were used to confuse evil spirits or witches that meant harm. One recorded method involved sprinkling poppy or mustard seed all around a baby's crib or a doorway. And if the malevolent spirit tried to enter, they were forced to count the seeds before they could move forward, buying time or becoming exhausted and the sun comes or whatever. I think we've talked about this type of story before. One granny witch swore that this worked to keep death dreams away from her great great granddaughter. Every time the little girl had a nightmare, they would salt the corners with seed and the bad dreams would stop. And bonus if they used poppies, because poppies are tied to sleep magic. The tomato seed revenge jar. This one sounds ominous. A little known hex magic method found in some 20th century Italian American folk magic involved placing fermented tomato seeds and garlic inside a jar with the target's name symbolizing rot and sourness. The idea was to, quote, spoil someone's reputation or relationships, like overripe tomatoes in the sun. In one retelling, a scorned woman sealed such a jar with black wax and buried it near a shared fence, and the cheating neighbor's marriage crumbled. Interesting. Here is one last one that I found from the Victorian era. Appleseed love divination. In Victorian England, young women would whisper the name of a suitor into apple seeds and then place them on the fire grate. The first seed to pop or explode in the heat would supposedly indicate who they would marry, which suitor was going to be their hot stuff, so to speak. One dairy in 1873 mentions a girl who did her seed popping thing, and it cracked like a pistol and when she whispered her crush's name, and 2 years later they got married. So maybe it works. Who knows? Okay, so what are some good seeds to use for seed magics and why they slay? Number one, sunflower seeds. They stand for confidence, light, and growth. These beauties literally follow the sun. Great for solar magic, manifesting abundance, confidence, and a positive energy. Use if you're manifesting self-love, attracting attention, or need a boost of bold energy. Basil seeds. These are for prosperity, protection, and clarity. Basil has been used in spells for centuries to bring about wealth and ward off negativity. Brewing up some financial stability or needing to clear out the psychic air is when you might think to use basil seeds. The bonus is that they puff up when they're wet, perfect for a spell that expands your opportunities. I thought that was cute. Pepper seeds. Protection, power, and a little revenge. These spicy little devils are amazing in banishment or defense magic. Use if you're setting boundaries, repelling toxic vibes, or just need a don't mess with me shield around yourself. Warning, handle with respect as they could bite back. Acorns, the oak seeds, strength, stability, and long-term wisdom. Oak trees are ancient symbols of resilience. Acorns hold that baby tree power in a tiny, adorable little package. I mean, think of the giant, colossal oaks that come from this cute, adorable little nut with a hat. Use if you're building a long-term goal, a strong foundation, or ancestral connection spells. A fun ritual might be to keep one on your altar during times of change or insecurity. Poppy seeds. Poppy seeds are good for dream work, divination, and the hidden realms. They are associated with sleep, visions, and the underworld in many traditions. Use them if you're doing shadow work, working with the dark moon, or inducing prophetic dreams. Bonus tip, add them to a dream pillow or loose incense blend to drift into other realms. Strawberry seeds. I am so into strawberries right now, y'all. They are for love, attraction, and fertility. Oh, no, I don't want any more babies. Let's not do the fertility part. Strawberries are juicy little symbols of Venus. Their seeds live on the outside, flaunting their love spell energy. Use if you're drawing in love, especially a sensual love, or working with heart chakra energy. That's interesting. You've got chia seeds. They are supposed to be transformation, growth, and sticky intentions. Honestly, I've always considered chia seeds to be chaos related. One second you've got this cute little dry pebble, and then the next thing you know, your kitchen's overtaken with a fuzzy poltergeist. But you could use them because they swell up in water, symbolizing expansion. Oh, they expand all right. Great for manifesting rapid change. That's true. They grow very fast. Or sticky intentions, like a binding. Use if you're working in self-growth. I mean, it's a really fast-growing seed. So if you are working on something that needs to be done quickly, that might be the seed to use for that, because a lot of seeds take time. But if you're working on self-growth, habit shifting, or binding toxic patterns, chia seeds might be the seed to use. Black sesame seeds. Use these in shadow work, mystery, and lunar energy. These ancient seeds are full of dark moon juju and deep yin energy. Use if you're embracing your shadow side, working with the unknown, or seeking ancient wisdom. Pro tip, use them in the dark moon jar spells or sprinkle around your sacred space for depth and protection. Glim, what is your favorite seed to use in seed magic?
Ooh, I'd say sunflower seeds are my favorite. They're vibrant, resilient, and symbolize positivity and growth. Sunflowers follow the sun, which makes them perfect for spells involving joy, abundance, and personal growth. Plus, they attract pollinators and bring a burst of sunny energy wherever they grow. Using them in seed magic is like planting little beacons of light and hope.
How would you use a sunflower seed in a magical spell?
In a magical spell, you could use a sunflower seed to harness its energy of positivity and growth. Here's a simple spell idea. Sunflower seed spell for joy and abundance. 1. Gather supplies. You'll need a sunflower seed, a small piece of paper, and a sunny spot to plant the seed. Set your intention. On the piece of paper, write down your intention, whether it's joy, abundance, or personal growth. Be as specific as you'd like. Charge the seed. Hold the sunflower seed in your hand and visualize it glowing with a warm golden light. Imagine this light carrying your intention deep into the seed. Planting ritual. Dig a small hole in the ground or in a pot of soil. Place the piece of paper with your intention at the bottom of the hole. Then place the sunflower seed on top. Cover it with soil while visualizing your intention taking root and growing strong. Nurture and watch it grow. Water the seed regularly and tend to it as it grows into a sunflower. Each time you care for it, reaffirm your intention and visualize it coming to fruition. This simple spell aligns your intention with the natural growth of the sunflower, creating a living symbol of your magical goal.
Seed magic. That was awesome, Glim. I love that. Seed magic can be so beautiful. It teaches us patience, growth, and how to accept when things die, which unfortunately they do, even after you've sworn this time that you wouldn't forget to water them. Ugh. Glim, do you have any final thoughts on seed magic for our listeners?
Absolutely. Seed magic is a beautiful reminder that even the smallest things can hold immense potential. By working with seeds, you're connecting to the cycles of nature, growth, and transformation. It's a gentle yet powerful way to manifest your intentions, nurture your goals, and bring a bit of magic into your everyday life. So go ahead and plant those seeds, literally and figuratively, and watch the magic unfold.
I love that. That's all we've got for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to know more about us, check out our website at www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you will find all of our episodes, our blog, our merch. If you like the show, please consider supporting us. On our website, you can find the two ways to support us. One is through Buzzsprout, and with that one, you get all our bonus episodes that we do on the same platform that you listen to our regular episodes without having to search them down or go anywhere special. If you choose Patreon, you get the bonus episodes plus a whole bunch of other goodies. Like I just recently did some clip art. I was playing with AI and clip art and wanted to see, and I put those out there for you all, for our patrons. I did a retrograde cheat sheet because I'm always having to look it up every time something goes into retrograde. So I did a cheat sheet for everybody. We've got to-do lists, coloring pages. Ren was doing some meditation, self-guided meditation things before she got ill. So check those out. Support us. You don't know how much it helps. Thank you to those of us who already support us. We couldn't do this without you guys. As usual, let us know what other topics you want us to cover. We'll be back. And until then, stay witchy.